All right. Nice. Audio is good today. We're talking about that hand synchronization game, I think, today. Let some folks roll in. Here's a little riff. Trying to get polished out for the new record, you know? I'm probably going to mess it up because I don't know it yet. I'm still creating. But I love this, like, getting this B flat rub against the B natural open string. So the whole riff is kind of built around that. Yeah, right? So check this out. Let's see if I can play it. The second part's kind of nice where it inverts that. It's a really, really pretty riff, right? I love it. I hope you guys like it. It's going to be on the record, so if you like it or not. Nice tone right there with the Pantheon. Stepping on that for a second. Gearbox for like the super liquid stuff, you know. A little more defined and tight in the low end. A little more articulation. I'm gonna try that one again. nice sound right there too. So with that said, if you guys want to learn that tasty riff, I call it tasty. Doesn't have a working title yet. If you could just see out of shot, I've actually gridded the whiteboard of doom, to say that we're going to be making a record. And if you want to learn this tasty riff, the way you're going to do it, thanks to the help of this device right here. This is the Vidami. The fine folks, you can see the bug down in the screen. This right here is a great learning tool. Oftentimes we see, I know I do, see guys online that just playing at light speed. It's like overwhelming, right? You see like some of my heroes like Brim Mason or you know, Eric Johnson or Steve Morse or some of those guys playing, and it's always live. You know, it's never the thing in the studio that could have been mimed. It's always the stuff that's live that's the most intimidating to me. You know, because that's without a net. That's the true tale of the tape. Can you do it standing up? So when I find those videos on YouTube or whatever, this right here, this is my favorite device. Bluetooth to your rig, whether you laptop, iMac or iPhone or, you know, tablet or whatever. The function that I use most of the time on the old Vidami, and the great thing is the setup's quick, right? You Bluetooth it in, it's ready to go. The function that I love the most is just being able to hit pause and backwards. These are my two most used buttons right here, pause and backwards. And it just allows me to like keep my hands on the guitar, keep focused on what I'm trying to do over here, and not have to find the spot in the YouTube video. That's the biggest nuisance thing to me. However, there's a great function that a lot of you guys might love, is being able to loop it, right? You find the part that you like, you hit the loop in, the loop out. So there's this specific lick, right? Like say you want to learn that lick, that riff that I'm playing, right? That glassy kind of riff. And you got it down here in the bottom camera. You got the right hand in the main camera. Like you could just loop that much of it. I'll even play it in time so you'll have it to loop. So you can grab that, loop it, and then get it to just play along. Now, while it's looping, you can hit the speed function and slow it down. So it's a really, really valuable tool. The reason I'm talking about it is they are the reason that we get to do this live stream every week. That is a main point right there, is like the folks of Vidami allow us to get together in the old woodshed, talk about guitar, talk about tone, talk about pedals, talk about technique, all this kind of stuff. And this week, I thought it'd be cool to talk about hand synchronization. I wish I could see your faces. When I say hand synchronization, it's really the answer when people are like, how do I play faster? How do I work on my alternate picking? It's like, it's always that thing. How do I get cleaner? And it's rarely a situation of not being able to play fast in the right hand, right? Or play fast in the left hand. Because everybody can do everybody can do all that foolishness, right? Like we've all learned the tappity tap licks and the trills. We've all learned that stuff, right? Crazy train or whatever, right? So if your left hand can go fast and your right hand can go fast, where's the problem? Why are you not clean? Why is it not popping? Why are the notes not coming out when you play in lines? So when you're playing your lines, let's take an old fiddle tune that I love, and I haven't played it a day or two, but that's all right. Let me see if I can remember a good little version of it here. We'll do it on the fly. Yeah, how about that? I'll take it like a light jog. So we'll take that front section again. I'll roll the delay back a little bit. So the point of this is not really to say which variation of Blackberry Blossom is Andy playing, right? The tune that I'm playing is Blackberry Blossom, right? There's a million different ways people play this. They descend it. They do it like this. Right? They come up and then go backwards. Like all of those kind of variations are not the focus of what we're going to be talking about. What we're going to be talking about is simply just take the notes of G and getting both hands to fire at the exact same time. That is where the perceived idea of speed comes from. Now, it's not like a Wayne's World commercial, but I've got a Coke here. This is not like intentional product placement. They are in no way involved with this live stream whatsoever. But I'm here for you, Coke, if you want me, right? So anyways, when I'm talking about like this hand synchronization topic, it's what makes things sound really crispy clean. That really doesn't count because I'm just holding a chord, right? Like, right? It's more in the lines that are like the like where you're really kind of laying a lot of heat to the fretboard, right? And you're trying to play really clean, even if it's a light jog. Trying to really interject fast, bubbly lines in with like regular playing, right? So the reason I use just the chord, the scales of G is because you don't need to worry about the harmony. I grew up playing a lot of those fiddle tunes. That's where my hand synchronization comes from, like Whiskey Before Breakfast. Right? Like that kind of flat picking thing. So it really, you find something that you like. You find some kind of like musical excerpt that you enjoy. Dream Theater will work, Dixie Dregs, whatever, anything that requires some picking. Yeah, you can also maybe take a page out of my playbook and learn maybe Gold Rush, right? Like that's a good one. Learn that old fiddle tune. And what you're going to focus on, instead of trying to get the left hand to run as fast as he can and the right hand to run as fast as he can, you're just really trying to get them to work together. The moment you hit the string is the exact moment you're going to hit the pick. Like the left hand and the right hand are firing at the exact same time. Except you're not going to flub like that. If you're Tony Rice, that's the lick you'll play. But you're really focusing on cleanliness. And that doesn't mean like, is it this? That's still clean, but it's really staccato. The notes aren't rolling into each other. I grew up listening to a lot of banjo players, so I really love that sound of notes flowing into each other. When people think of the Eric Johnson thing, Steve Morse, John Petrucci, all these like superhuman shredders, the notes roll into one another. And I'm thinking about dynamic too. Thinking about like making the notes, some are loud, some are soft. Think about a musical flow. Even if I'm just, it's really flow is the right word. Like a musical flow where it's like each note is held until the exact moment that the next note is needed. So we'll take. I don't know why we're playing that. Where did that come from? I don't know. But the point is we're in the key of C. That's a little staccato-y, but it's kind of nice. It's controlled versus right? That's like a little more almost like a classical violin player, right? That's purposely the same kind of lick twice, right? Both with two different kind of variations of how they sound and how they're delivered. The secret in that is making sure that your hands are firing at the exact same time. Like that is the thing, right? And you also need to practice this stuff. And I don't really use the word practice because I think of it as playing. I'm just playing the guitar, like sitting around the house. Most of the time unplugged, right? Let me play that clean. And I'm thinking about just getting every note to roll into the next note. It's even like with my own music, you know? Play that clean. So even like in that moment where I was thinking about the Eric Johnson descending thing, it's kind of a mix between Sean Lane and Eric, actually, because I'm doing like a wider pentatonic there. And then it gets into the Eric thing, right? So it's like that. Let me play that clean. Like that, right? That's a great example right there of just trying to play everything nice and crispy. A little bit of palm mute. Knowing where everything's going to be. Now, if I picked everything, it's going to be a lot more abrasive. So that's why that's hammer on pull-off. Trying to think of other examples that I might have, right? But the point is the same, whether we use an example or not. It's I'm trying to think of other like-minded instances where that would happen. I just fail to think of anything except fiddle tunes. But it makes sense still yet if you've got the high gain going. There's a reason I'm playing with no dirt on right now, is to show that the dynamic of this is really all in the synchronization, right? Like once you start adding in delay and distortion, reverb, it's a little easier to play, right? So if you could control this thing and drive this car on an unforgiving scenario, then when you add the easier things that help your tone, hide your mistakes, maybe is a better way to word that, right? Okay, I'm going to dig into the chat here for a little bit and just kind of see what you guys think about this. A lot of hellos and howdies and how do you do's. Good to see some familiar names in here. I always like chiming in and seeing guys that I've seen in here before. All of our Woodshed members, shout out to all of our Patreon Woodshed members that I see in the house. We got Randy, we got Jim, Jay, all the crews here, Aaron. If you're interested in being a part of that community, it's really amazing. We've got a Discord where all you guys can chat and share videos with each other and not feel like the internet's judging you, you know, because that's a thing. I'm sure there'll be plenty of bad comments underneath this video. All right, so we got the Discord server. We got a group masterclass that takes place once a week. It's really fantastic. It's on Zoom, really great for Q&A. And then, of course, you can tier it all the way up into private one-on-one lessons. Outside of that, even the most basic $5 tier on Patreon gets you access to, over 300 videos. So there's a ton of material to get in there and chew on. So shout out to the Woodshed members in the house tonight. Greg, good to see you. All right, Lucas, I see you too, brother. All right, so let's dig in here. I'm just going to start flipping through the chat. Totally Mitch and Collectibles. I love that. Mitch, good to see you, brother. I love that name. Thanks for the compliment on the tone. This is simply the Sir Bella amplifier with my new little pedal board. Shout out to XTS in Nashville, Exact Tone Solutions. They will be at the Woodshed Guitar Experience, our camp in August. So if you want to come, be sure to sign up. All right. There's Aaron. Okay, he's just saying this piece reminds me feeling of hitting a goal and you realize the how brief the mental payoff is. Like moving forward, staying still at the same time. That's a lot of guitar. That's a lot of the music game, right? You don't feel like you're making any headway whatsoever, and then you look back at how you sounded 5 years ago and you're like, ooh, that was rough. You know. Robert here's got a great idea. Great topic. He says, ever had a problem with tension in your picking hand, arm, shoulder? If so, how did you deal with it? Robert, that's coming from something that your anatomy is doing subconsciously, most likely. Most likely when you start to play, you're stiffening and tensing up. I catch myself in that tense shoulder pain when I play a lot of Dreadnought and I'm sitting down and I'm hunched over it and I'm really digging in. My solution to that is just simply readjust which leg the guitar sits on. Maybe stand up for a little bit and continue to play in that fashion. Don't overplay. Like you don't want to brute force this type of thing, right? Like that's the big thing, is not brute forcing your playing. You want things to come naturally and be organic to your delivery, right, of your notes, whether that be something super over the top or not. Turn that down just a little bit over here. Get that louder. So even in that kind of like super shred-a-thon, going for the jugular type of playing, trying to have some kind of state of relaxation where you're not stressing yourself out. I haven't really warmed up today at all. This is the first I've played any guitar today. So it's like I also try to just kind of ease into it and stretch the hands and that kind of thing, you know? Like, just take it kind of easy. That's where the fiddle tunes are so great for me. I really love, like, playing those and warming up on those and learning variations to those. And a lot of them kind of tend to be out of the key of G. So you end up with a lot of those, like, really pretty open string kind of things. That kind of thing, right? Okay, axe addiction here. Flat picking the fiddle tunes. Should it be the goal to alternate pick everything, or do hammer-ons, pull-offs account for speed as well? I mean, yeah, like, if guitar is a lot like a Jedi's mentality, saying anything 100% is the way is actually wrong, in my opinion, right? Like, I'm not big on saying that this is without a doubt how you do something. Like, because there's so much music and so many great players that can disprove. There's always somebody out there that can do something that's not the correct way, right? You're asking about hammer-ons and pull-offs. Let me show you a couple of ways that, like, bluegrass guys would use hammer-ons and pull-offs to navigate. Let's see here. Okay, so, like, if we're playing out of the key of G, watch the other camera, that camera. Those little slides leading into pull-offs, like that kind of thing. And that'd be like, it'd be like that kind of sound, right? Like all of those kind of that'd be like a way I'd work it into maybe a more rock thing. Those kind of things. And you could do it out of a flat 5 up here. This is the way a lot of the sneaky pull-off things happen. One more time. Is a pull-off. Slide. That'd be another way that a grass guy would move it up. Like, yeah, I like that thing. I would pick a lot of that. I like that kind of articulation. But you could... those kind of lines. There it is. It's really unnatural for me to approach that because I like to pick everything. So that's why I'm kind of struggling with that hammer-on approach. But guys do that. You know, that's definitely a thing that happens. And in a fiddle tune scenario, specifically playing the melody of a fiddle tune, I would try to pick as much as possible. I like the sound of it. All that, all picked. That's the first pull-off I've played. Still picked. Even in Blackberry Blossom. Like, and so on and so forth. I suck today. Right? Let's try to think of another line. That'd be like one where it would cross a lot of different strings, right? Right. That move where you're playing at a certain moment, you're playing one note per string. That's what I was trying to think of on the fly, and I couldn't. You're outlining a lot of more triad type things. Yeah, those kind of ideas. Check out some more chat here. Aaron says he worked with a metronome yesterday. Oh gosh, the chat just jumped a lot. Man, Shannon, thank you for that 5 spot and the rolling hippo of anger. I love that. I don't know where you got that little rolling hippo of anger, but I love him. Worked with a metronome yesterday for an hour, and it's hard to beat for hand sync, but it's boring. That's where the fiddle tunes are valuable, Aaron. Like finding a fiddle tune to work on and play through. You can really spend an hour working on variations, you know. One more time. Another variation of that, right? Okay. Axe Addiction is saying, Andy, in flat picking fiddle tunes, should I play? Oh, sorry, I already got that one. My bad. Gotta ask, how do you feel about Billy's strings and his flat picking style? He seems to always pick really hard during his licks. Yeah, he does play really hard. He's playing guitars with 13s on them, which is also a string gauge that I like when I play acoustic guitar. I like that tension in the right hand. I think it makes the notes pop a lot more. On electric guitar, we've got things like compressors and loud tube amps that makes stuff pop out. And also, I'm such a big fan of doing the bend thing, you know, that I gotta have that pliability in the left hand. So like that, I need that bendability. All right. 2 notes per string is also really tough. Okay, so let's talk about that 2 note per string thing. D40 is bringing that up too. 2 note per string pentatonics with an upstroke. Yeah, I kind of start everything most of the time with a downstroke. Yeah, kind of. It's always a downstroke, right? I wouldn't say always, but most of the time. trying to play like a medium tempo, you can kind of see the right hand. Yeah. So I don't really do the economy thing, like playing through that stuff. I'm alternate picking most of it, most of the time. I hope that's of some help. D40. Hello, St. Louis. Hello, New Zealand. Man, great to have New Zealander in here. That's really cool. Phil Jam is saying, this is probably obvious. How important is creating muscle memory before being able to play relaxed and with dynamics? I think it all goes hand in hand. I think you're trying to train your hands to understand and train your muscle memory what the dynamic is, right? I'm trying to think of something that'd be nice. Nice and dynamic, right? Like letting that fall. All of that kind of trying to play musical dynamic thing, that should not be a separate practice from working on technique. Like all of that stuff should work together, right? So like, let me take, again, let's give the shout out to Vidami right now. And we're going to offer up another little section here if you want to learn. This is a riff on my new record that I'm working on. And that also ties into the hand synchronization thing, not hitting a note until you're ready. and adding in those little colorful pull-offs. Yeah, that kind of thing, man. I think that's kind of good. Yeah. All right. I'm going to slide down here in the chat. To chat it up. Let's see what we got going on. Okay. Anthony is in the house. Crisp high fives. Crispy high fives to Anthony. He says, still Andre's latest country twang demo. I don't know him. The collab. He says I need to collab. I don't really know him, and I don't know who's playing. Good to see everyone. Tucker's joining in. I grip the pick not really crazy tight and not really loose. It's, I would say, like a medium grade intensity, you know? Like maybe you'd hold a pen or something. Like that kind of, you know. He also says, how do I identify which pick is best for me? It depends on the situation. Most of the time I'm using these like Black Ice. I'm down to where they're putting my logo on there, little AW, and then my signature on the other side. I use that for when I'm throwing picks out into the audience, and you know, those kind of situations. I can get them in large amounts at a time. I like to use the blue chip in the studio most of the time if I'm tracking something. It's got a little more glide to it, which I like, and they don't wear out, which I do like. Clint Tucker is saying, Andy, how do you focus on transitions from string to string from beat 4 to beat 1 on the next measure? It helps with that hand sync. Oh man, interesting. I don't really break it down and scope that far in. I'm thinking a little bit more on the grander scale of like a tune. Like that's kind of the way I think about it. And the tune will guide me. And I alternate pick almost everything. So like the tune will guide me on what needs to happen on what beat. Like if you took Billy in the Low Ground, right? You know. Like I'm not really thinking about all those measures independently. I'm thinking about the whole song scoped out so I can have like a nice sense of... Right. Those kind of things, right, are where I'm not thinking about the scoped in aspect of how many notes per string am I playing, which direction am I doing this, or which beat does this upstroke fall on. Like the truth is, guys, I really would have to have someone like a Levi Clay transcribe that stuff, or a Luke transcribe that stuff and get it back to me, because I wouldn't know, because I alternate pick it so much, I don't really think about it like that. It's hard to sync the slides and the pull-offs at breakneck speeds. Yeah, that's the thing, and you really don't need to practice it too slow, or you're going to lose the idea of what it's supposed to sound like, right? Like if that's fast, I would practice it. That'd be adding in all those pull-offs or hammer-offs. They're almost like little triplets. We'll be like, you see, I had to move the tempo up to get back into the groove, right? Like that's a thing where you don't want to be practicing those pull-offs and hammer-ons so slow that you lose the idea of what the pocket is. Yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on that. Yeah, X Addiction's talking about Dave Greer. Yeah, definitely look up David Greer. He's a cat that you guys are going to love. For sure, you're going to love his playing. So clean, man. Such a clean player. Relaxing the fretting hand, not feeling like I have to press the string. Yeah, that's true, right? And like switching string gauges a lot will affect that. Like I play mandolin, I'm playing acoustic guitar or whatever, and then come back to electric. It's changing that, you know. Axe Addiction says he has a new friend, the Sean Tubbs tilt pedal. I mean, I haven't really let it out of the bag, but I too have the Sean Tubbs tilt pedal. You guys know that I'm a big Sean Tubbs fan. I can't wait to put this thing through its paces on some sessions. Might end up on my new record. It's gorgeous, man. I really love the aesthetic of it too. The motorcycle, the gold, rusted gold looking color, and then a little bit of metallic flake in there. Just looks freaking slick. I think they do a great job. Little signature down at the bottom. Freaking good. If you hadn't heard the demos of it, just check out what Sean can do with it. It's really, really incredible. Okay, a couple more questions here before we call it a day. Let's see. Uncle Ben made a great point on his video after taking 8 days off. The stories we tell ourselves really play a huge part in what slips. Oh, that's interesting, right? Yeah, that's very interesting. A lot of gear talk over here in the chat. I see you guys talking about quad cortexes and fractals, and I see the gear chat. Is the blue chip bigger than the black ice? Not really. No, the blue chip and the black ice are really, really, really freakishly close. I'm looking for a blue chip. It's probably around the corner. I don't want to stand up and go get it. Yeah. I'm checking out a couple questions over here. A question about the Star Wars videos. I'm wondering how Brent would do a couple. Brent Mason? I mean, I don't know. I wonder which Star Wars movies Brent's seen. I don't know. I don't think he's the fan that I am. Like, I am the mega Star Wars fan. How would he do them? I don't know. That'd be an interesting take, though, for sure. I bet Brent would go jazzy with it. Yeah, this is a great point right here. We've got Fishbulb talking. He says that Alan Hines says recently about playing fast parts, thinking of all of that as one individual note or one individual motion instead of all these separated things. Like one motion might be like one motion might be yeah, I'm thinking about those as like one complete motion, or like is a motion. Those are motions. I would think of all of that as almost like one note, and I'm stringing those together, and it's got to be so relaxed that I can play through the key of G and talk to you as I'm playing all those triads, right? Like that's a big point, is like, are you relaxed enough to keep playing? Like I'm just going to jump in another area of the fretboard and try to keep the idea going. Even though I played a dominant 7 right there, I should have played a major 7. And I flubbed that note. It's almost like you're taking an inventory like while you're playing to see what's connecting and what's not. And while I talk to you guys and describe it, you can see that my brain's trying to make it a subliminal easy thing to do. Like I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for myself. I think that's a really important point for your own practices. You're really trying to not get so far into microscopic analysis of things to where you're forgetting just that it should be just as simple as like moving your hands, right? Like that's really all it is. You just got to know the right places to put them. But like these grips that I'm doing, I'm just putting my fingers down where I know the right answer is, and it's a very relaxed motion. You know how you used to have a hard time maybe playing that F power chord, but now you can just go and play it? It's that thing, but combined to multiple notes, right? That's a really cool Tony Rice lick. Maybe you can use this for your Vidami. It's a really complicated one in the right hand, too. Right, those kind of things. And I'm looking for like that really even, pretty kind of tone, like almost banjo-esque. That's all right there. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the hair products on the mullet. It's actually not a mullet. I just keep it behind my ears. You can kind of see the tuck there. Basic shampoo. Stoked about the Star Wars theme videos. I actually need it cut, man. It's super long. Got it cut. I think there's some micro chat going on. It's hard to keep up with it. Yeah. Analysis paralysis. That's a great term. Axe Addiction has made a good one. Make an asterisk around that. Analysis paralysis is totally the thing that I'm talking about, where you scope in so far that you're forgetting to just kind of pull back and be like, what does this sound like? What am I doing? What's the main part of the music supposed to be? Like when I played a little bit of the Marriage of Figaro, you know, I'm thinking of not as all individual notes, right? Or like I'm thinking of it as one motion. That way I can play it at speed, you know? Ah, so sloppy. There we go. Right. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Doug Seven. He's another kind of telly chicken picking kind of guy, kind of a back pickup kind of guy, right? Those kind of licks, right? Right, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, cool. All right, let's see here. Any other questions? We've actually ran out of time for today, but that's okay. I'm just digging through. I love that you guys are chatting with each other. It's really cool to see the community kind of come together and see you guys all like nerding out on the same things that we all love. So pardon me if I seem a little sporadic. I'm trying to keep up with the conversation going over here, but it's really, really cool to see you guys like all just getting in there and discussing the things, because that's what we're trying to do. Like for those that aren't aware of like what this is all about, like we're in the idea and the headspace of community building. So I love to see you guys talking about other platforms, getting together on other platforms, and if I and Vidami can work together to help build that community. That's amazing. That's we would love to be an anchor for that kind of, like, this kind of interaction. A little housekeeping here, man. If you guys have not got a Vidami and you're interested in what it does and how it works, there's a code you can use. There's a link that if you look over in the right, you'll see Vidami with a wrench next to it in the chat. Click on that link that takes you to Woodshed Live, right? The Vidami.com link with Woodshed in it. And then use the code Woodshed Live 10. That's going to save you some money on your purchase, save you some dollar paper. And then, that's just one of the things that we're trying to do, like help get this thing in your hands. So yeah, make sure to use Woodshed Live as the code on the Vidami.com link that's over on the chat. Little talk here, talking about the Liquid Tension first record as a Universal 9, and it's the string skipping thing. Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. That's a great one for hand synchronization. That one, right? Let's work on that one real quick. I haven't played this in a long time. It's really fun, though. You see that you've got to jump over that B string. That's the real booger with it, right? So you got, I'm getting phone calls here. Let's do this. Okay. So when we're shaping up this Liquid Tension licking camera 2, it's based around this, like, F chord or this D minor kind of shape. But you still see the fact that we're playing around like an F sus4. So we're going to be jumping from the 3rd, root 4, 3, root 7. And then you jump up and play the same thing up here. With that, like, C kind of shape. I actually think there's a pull-off at the top of that. I think John does a pull-off. I've habitually always done a pull-off. I don't know for a fact if he pulls it off or not. He might pick it off. He might pick it off. I don't remember. But I out of habit, use a pull-off. Right. Isn't that the last lick? And that's kind of a Steve Morse thing. So he's doing. Something like that. I've kind of forgot it, but the point is, this is a great example of, like, being relaxed, playing through. Three-note per string stuff there. It's a completely different situation than when you're doing the 2-note per string. Those like 4s, and that's like a 5-note grouping. Right. That's like switching back and forth between the two different style of groupings, kind of making it seamless in a lot of ways, trying to glue that stuff together and make it feel nice and smooth, right? Okay, is there any tips for syncing up the 2-note per string thing? I just find it impossible to gain speed. it's really all about that same stuff that we're talking about. You take some groupings. I'm just playing in D minor now because that's where that liquid tension thing is. And the trick with it is to not make it the same pattern and the same exercise. Like, don't go. I never play like that, right? So I'm always trying to mix it up. Again, I'm trying to make music and let the technique work itself out as I'm aiming at musical statements. And like even then, like all of this is like everything's at the same tone, like at the same level. I wouldn't really play like this, you know. It would be more. I would start working on speed after that. I would work on the ideas of the musicality first, the dynamics, the tone. Am I getting a good sound? Are my bends in tune? Are my vibrato good? And then working in some of those like licks. One more time. You heard I was a little flat in that bend, so I wanted to go back and readdress it, right? Like that's how I practice. It's just like coming up with some ideas. It's really difficult to come out of that slide into the bend. So I would work on that. I would now have found me something that's giving me some issue. And I would work on that. All right, boom, done. I've just solved that problem. You guys saw me hit a roadblock and like identify it and then try to relax, step back, listen to the whole phrase as a whole and solve the issue. So that's a really cool moment right there where it's like, yeah, I was like rusty and ragged around something. And then you guys saw how I like solved it like in real time. So that's how, like, I can't always tell or right, like articulate exactly what's going through my mind. But sometimes when, you know, you see it in real time, it's easier to see how I assimilated the problem, addressed it mechanically, and knew that the focus of the sound, and then my hands kind of knew what to do to fix the problem, right? And I think that's not something that's reserved for just the way that I think. I think it's something that every one of you guys can do. I believe that. I just think you can't do it if you're not aware of it, right? Like really the game of music is listening and awareness, right? That's the thing. So there's two, we got some cool stuff. Evermaster Eugene's Trick Bag. Yeah, there's videos of me playing it. I think in the very first live stream I played it, right? Right. That one's weird. There we go. Right. Right, so on and so forth. Yeah. I think that Eugene's Trick Bag's fun because it's like if you don't practice it, it just kind of goes away. It's like working on working on bebop stuff always kind of does that to me. If I take too long of a break from bebop, all that vernacular goes away. So, yeah. Puss says, Pust says, it looks easy, but when I do it, I get stuck on the strings. It's about the relaxation. It's about the awareness, the mental relaxation to allow yourself to hear the music and put your focus on the listening of the music and not try to brute force your hands, right? Oh, it's kind words, man. Kind words. I appreciate that. Appreciate that in the chat. With that said, I think this is a really cool topic for this week. And it's also one of those topics that just keeps unfolding. There's no real the answer on this kind of thing. There's no real like permanent solutions because the problem can always reinvent itself with guitar. There's always a pattern or a series of notes on X amount of strings that present an issue. And that's where you find, guys like Tom Quill that have found a solution to navigating the fretboard, right? And it's not gonna sound like John McLaughlin. Like they're not the same player. And that's what this kind of approach that I'm talking about is very much an introspective look at how you can find the ways to solve the issues. But you can't do that without relaxing, being aware of the music that you're trying to play. Like even when I was playing the Liquid Tension stuff, I don't sound like John Petrucci. I mean, I sounds like Andy Wood playing John Petrucci licks, right? And that's the thing. We're never really going to sound like anybody other than we are. What you're trying to do is just find a way to be expressive. You're trying to find a way to navigate problems that arise on the fretboard, but it's got to be within a relaxed state. There's so many technical style players that can only execute their thing if their guitar's a certain angle and it's like blah, 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 and you got the muting on and this and that and the other, and all this stuff has to be in place. To me, that seems like that stuff becomes not available, right? Like I want to be able to play Junktown or Forgotten Secrets or Truth and Lie or whatever song that I've got to play standing up in front of an audience. That is what it really ends up at for me. So all of the technique and all of the approach that I have to guitar ends up being like, if I can't do it live, then what is the point? That is where mental relaxation ties into hand synchronization and being able to know that when I play this series of notes, I know what it's going to sound like, how it's going to come out of the instrument. And there doesn't have to be some kind of situational thing. Like a lot of the reason I quit playing, well, I didn't quit playing it, but like I don't play Elfin Man as much anymore is because I had to have my guitar so high to play the series of arpeggios. That's the, there's like a bubbly kind of, there's like a series of chromatic, like bubbly arpeggio things. And I didn't like wearing my guitar that high for one song. I just didn't like it. So, outside of that, it's also a very unique song that requires a lot of technical demand, but my voice musically changed, right? Like the stuff that I make, I feel like is more honest now. Not honest. That's not the right word. It's more me. It's more identifiable as a me thing. Like even Elfin Man is a tribute to Danny Elfman. So it's me playing in the style of what I think someone sounds like. It's really about working on your situational awareness on the fretboard, your relaxation to where, if I'm playing, I can sit back and be relaxed here, and still play some of these crazy. I can still play the. Right? Or my stuff. If I lean into like the super try hard position, But the point is, if I stand up, I could still play. Right? All of that stuff is available, right? That's the word I'm looking for, is available. So, it is a gray area because it's difficult to teach. because I can't just look at you guys and go, put your finger here and repeat after me, because this stuff is more philosophical than it is concrete. Here's lick A. Let me spoon feed you lick A. Put your finger here. Like, that's not how this stuff works, and that's not really how you become a better player, truthfully. So I hope this is helpful. It's definitely a state of mind. You know what I mean? That's the thing, is like you're trying to get into a relaxed state of mind, because if it feels hard, it is. Like, you watch Guthrie Govan play fives, it looks relaxed because he's relaxed. Like, you can tell when something's challenging, but even then, he can play all that stuff standing up. Like, John Petrucci could play In the Name of God because he's relaxed. You really have to get in that space. And even though Billy Strings is playing really hard, like, even though he's playing all those kind of Doc Watson, Tony Rice licks physically hard, he is relaxed enough to do it for 2 hours and run and jump on stage. That's what's really the most important. So I hope this helps. Yeah, I hope this is a thing that helps you guys out. You know what I mean? And I hope it's something that helps you take your playing a little bit further this week than when you started yesterday, on a Monday. With that said, one more time to our sponsors. We went a little bit over today, but that's okay. Right there it is. This is the tool that I personally use. I use this thing so much to pause and to rewind. Those are my most two. Like, what was that? What was that? Pause, rewind. What was that? Now, what makes it really special is the loop function up here in the top right of the pedal. It will just keep cycling whatever it is you're working on. I personally can't. I don't work so well with loops. I want to pause it, try it, hear it, pause it, try it myself. Like, that's how I use this. That's the great thing about this thing. Super flexible. They have it with, we're going to start calling it, this is going to be my turn. You got it with gas in the tank, and you got it without gas in the tank. By that, I mean, they've got one right here at my foot where it should be. And this one has a power cable, a USB cable right on it. This is the gas in the tank version. Okay. If you're going to leave it permanently hooked up to your rig, maybe in your studio, maybe that's the answer, because you don't have to ever unplug it and it never runs out of gas. This one is the Bluetooth one. Now, this can be really cool if you're grilling or making some food in the kitchen and you're watching some kind of culinary video. You can pause it, make your stuff, and it'll work with your phone and your iPad, which I really like. And the reason I talk about this, you guys know I don't do the paid advertisements. You never see like Raid Shadow Legends on my videos or anything like that. But I stand behind things that I like. I mean, you don't have to look very far to see the things that I like. I like the Addario picks. I like this, Big Ben's nut sauce. It's all here on the table. I like the Planet Waves Shine stuff. I like Sean Tubbs. His pedals right here. You know what I mean? I like maybe there's a little Hershey's bar. There's like things that I like stay close to me, and it's easy to talk about and stand behind products that you really believe in. I mean, it's completely coincidental that I'm wearing a Sir shirt, but it's actually one of my favorite hoodies. But these guitars are awesome. It's really easy to tell someone, hey, this is awesome. It's really hard for me to go in and be like, hey, this like $200 Bullet Squire will make you play great, because I think they don't play super great. You know what I mean? So it's like, when you really believe in the things you're working with, it's easy to stand behind them. I genuinely use the Vidami all the time. And if it wasn't for our partnership, I wouldn't be able to bring this show to you each week and hang out with you guys. So with that said, check the Vidami. Make sure when you go to check it out in your shopping cart on the website, use that code. Use that Woodshed 10 code that's over there in the chat. And that will save you some money paper, which we all like to do. I know I like to do that. So with that said, guys, these are my thoughts this week. If you guys want to shoot me a follow on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, shoot me a message and let me know what kind of topics you'd love to see on this show. This is a weekly thing that we're going to keep doing, keep it on. And you can also email Vidami with topics that you would like to see on the show. We've done gear. Like, please don't think that it's just lesson. We've done, last week we talked about my new board. We can talk about string gauge and picks and all that kind of stuff in a future episode, or guitar cables, or, you know, if there's any of the amps that you guys ever want to hear, they're all back there, and I'm using a KHE amp switchers. We could turn them all on and listen to those at any point. So make sure you're using the internet for positivity, and reach out and let us know what you'd like to see on the show, and we will make it happen. So thanks for hanging with us this week. All the good times were had.